having me here today.
I'm so excited about this. And Dr. Lotus, you and I were talking about this very topic and how your life has actually been personally impacted by suicide prevention and what made you want to take it a step further. So let's talk about how you were impacted and what you did to help people, our family members and friends.
We know that suicide, suicide ideation, suicidality, any form of dealing with suicide can be devastating. And I was devastated. Early on, I worked in the construction field as an electrician, and I worked with a wonderful young man, and it was Friday. On Friday, everybody's kind of cleaning up everything, and you're sitting around and you're talking. And so he and we were on the docks, and we were getting ready for the time to go, and we were having a great conversation, and he was sharing about his two lovely daughters, and he began to share about his wife, and that his wife was cheating on him, and he didn't know what to do. And I remember that I could hear his heartache. But he circled back around to his daughters and how amazing they were, two little girls. And that's where we carried on the conversation. And then the bell blew and it was time to go. And, I just thought he would have a wonderful weekend. But Monday when I came to work, the word came to us that he had suicided. And then I remember when shortly after that, a gentleman that I'd worked for, Alan, for a number of years. I was the only female on the work detail, but he welcomed me in. He was so great. And his wife would send me pound cake, which is one of my favorite types of cake. She would send me pound cake when she would make some, and she'd put it in his lunchbox, and all the guys would say, "Hey, let me have some pound cake." And he would say, "No, this is not for you. This is only for Lotus." Right? He had a real Southern drawl, and I remember that. And I took a fancy to him, and I loved him and his wife for just pulling me in. And, he hired me at a time when they weren't even doing any hiring. And I never forgot that. But I remember one day Alan was working, putting up a controller, and he was in the control room by himself just before they took break for lunch. And he ended up getting electrocuted. He fell, the ambulance came out. They took him off. The ambulance stopped a couple times. They said that he died, and then they revived him. And so he was gone from work for quite some time, but he was able to come back to himself, if that makes sense to you. But he wasn't totally himself, but he came back to work, and he worked for a while. And I remember I was going through the lab, and I saw him and another coworker, and I said, "Hey, Alan, do you remember me?" And he said, "Yes, I remember you." And I talked to him for a split second, and then off we went. And that weekend, he went home and he suicided. Not only did he suicide, but his wife had gotten some not so great news about her health, and she also suicided. And it devastated me because I also worked with his son, who worked on our same team. So you can imagine the son losing his mother and losing his father to suicide. It was something that I couldn't fathom. And at that age, I was probably in my late 20s. I hadn't heard much about suicide or how it impacted people. I knew people suicided, but that wasn't something that was very well known in my own personal life. And then my cousin also suicided. He worked for the CIA previously, and he had just got a new job promotion. We had just had a family reunion, and I remember sitting down with him, talking with him, and he looked like everything was great. But then maybe a week later, he suicided. So I remember when I went to work for the Department of Defense in Japan, and the opportunity came along to work with service members and non-service members who had substance use disorder and mental illness. Many of the times they had suicidal ideations. And I remember when I was there, this organization called ASSIST is called Applied Suicide Intervention Skills Training. they were offering this on the base. And I made sure to become a part of that because I never wanted to miss the invitation that people send out when they're in the mindset of suicide. And so that's one thing that really compelled me to be a part of that organization. And so those are the things that led me to where I am today, wanting to help people and wanting to show people that there are better ways. And, quite frankly, Sabrina, I think you and I may have shared this conversation before. When I couldn't walk on my own without a cane or being helped with someone else, I had some dark days too.
Mm-hmm.
And because of one of my friends who was in assist, she knew the questions to ask because it's hard questions. Nobody wants you to invade their privacy, so to speak, but that helped me to be able to help others.
And thank you for sharing that. And we've got the banner up here with the assist official name. And I want to tell the audience again exactly what assist is all about. It is a 2-day training program that teaches participants how to assist those at risk for suicide. Although many healthcare professionals use assist, anyone 16 years or older can use the approach, regardless of professional background. Assist workshops cost money to attend, with costs varying by training site. So it is something that anyone can do. And oftentimes we feel helpless, Dr. Lotus, when something happens to someone. What can I do? What can I do? Even just trying to understand the mindset. So this program, having been on both sides now, losing a couple of people to suicide, going through this program, would you say that this program has helped you and empowered you not only to deal with your own emotions, with your loss, but to go forward to help others?
Unequivocally. It helped me with the sailors and soldiers that I served in Japan who had suicidal ideations. I was able to actually hone in on their messages and be able to do intervention, because it's suicide intervention. We try to intervene and help bring people out of the river, if you will, of suicide. It's helped me save lives, not only in Japan, but once I came back and moved back to the United States, I hosted a class right there in near Atlanta in Stockbridge, and I was able to leverage my relationships with other people who were assist certified as trainers, that they could go out and work in the community. And I did that because when I got back in the United States, my friend, she was my cousin. She was 10 years old. Her best friend suicided because she was told, and this is the information that I got, that she would never see her father again. So she suicided. And then in Douglasville, Georgia, they had a 6-year-old that suicided. And so that really compelled me to work with the coroner's office and other folks in the Douglasville area. And we began to work together to intervene and to help train people so that we could thwart the thoughts and the actions when it comes to people taking their lives. So, of course.
And thank you so much for sharing that, because there's so many different dimensions to suicide. So there's the family, there are coworkers, there are just people in your general network, there are people of all different ages, all different cultures, nationalities, so it varies. So how do we take this now from understanding the suicide, going through the assist program? How do we deal with the encouragement side? Someone's lost someone. Can you speak to that? What does that look like?
Yes. So let me say this. The authoring agency is called Living Works Education. And this is how we inspire and empower and encourage people, because we go into the communities, we go into corporations, we go to our military personnel to say, hey, this is what we want to do to encourage you to stay alive and to help others stay alive, because there is a reason, there is a silver lining, and we want to help you find it. I was talking to the president of our amazing organization, WOII, and we, she shared some information with me, of how we are also demonstrating ways to help people. There is a link, and you think you already have it. It's called Don't Commit Suicide. And in the Don't Commit Suicide, along with the assist link that we're sharing with you, these are ways to let you know that you're important. And what I love, when you go to the link that she'll share, the Don't Commit Suicide link, one of the first things that said is God love, and you matter. And this is how we are empowering people. We are encouraging people. We are inspiring people, because we're letting them know that they are loved, that they are worthy. Your journey may not be easy, but it has worth. And another thing that we're doing to encourage people, and you can go right to this link, you are not alone. We're telling people, hey, you're not alone. Lots of people feel alone, but that's a trick to move you into taking your life. But we're here to say, you know what? We want to help you through your struggles. We want to inspire you. We want to empower you. And there are many Bible verses that we share with people on this site, Don't Commit Suicide. There are also many other things for those that may not be solely connected to the Bible. We have other things that we're sharing with them to encourage them, but also we're sharing with them that, hey, you know what? There are people out here that want to connect with you. And gone are the days of taboo where we don't talk about suicidal ideations. We have to talk about it, and we make it so easy and welcoming for people to come and join and be inspired, devoid of judgment and devoid of shame.
I love what you said. I love that, because there's so many different levels and layers to this.
Yes.
And I want to go back a little bit. Something you said earlier when we started the show is that you gave an example of people who were kind of telling you something was going on.
Yes.
They kind of drop breadcrumbs.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, when a family member, a close friend, a loved one, anyone, sometimes they drop breadcrumbs to let you know that something is not quite right.
That's
I
correct.
believe the guy that got electrocuted, you were sharing with me that he was telling you something wasn't quite right.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we let that go past. Go ahead. You're going to weigh in on that.
You know, it had been shared with me that before he passed, he said that he had wished that they had just let him die. And after experiencing what he had experienced with his wife taking her life, not totally being his full self, I can imagine how daunting that was, But here are opportunities for us to ask that question. Well, what do you mean when you say you wish we had let you die? How can I help? And then go into sharing some of the things that you may know about the person that really changes your life because they're alive. Tell them, if you weren't here, my day might not be so bright. Do you know that when I come to work every day, when you bring me coffee or when you come by and say, hey, great morning, how you doing? It makes the world of difference. Let them know that their dog or their cat will miss them. There's been cases where like the dog in Japan, when the owner passed away, the dog showed up at the train station faithfully every day for years in and years out. And that's how we will show up. Their pets, their friends, their family, their loved ones, we will show up. And if they're not there, we will miss them. And it's okay to tell somebody that we love them, that we miss them, that we care, that we want to walk the journey with them.
Wow, that's powerful. And I watched that movie a couple of times. Does it have keto or something like that?
Yes.
But anyway, but it shows, and wow, that's powerful. You just really enlightened us with something, that a person that has those thoughts, let's let them know that people care about them, even their pets. And pets
Yes.
are powerful in the lives of people.
Yes.
I would have never thought to utilize that strategy. And
Yep.
speaking with, that's coming from your training. That's coming from
Exactly.
your assist training.
Yep.
Think about that. So
Mhm.
here, if you're in conversation with someone and they're talking to you, they've got some dark thoughts, or they make a comment like, I wish I wasn't here, or just
Yes.
let me die, or my family would be better without me. Those are breadcrumbs. Those are clues.
Exactly.
And oftentimes they want help.
Yes.
They want
Definitely.
someone to pay attention, and they want
Definitely.
help. But
Mhm.
what normally happens, we don't pick up on the clues.
Exactly.
We don't ask the question that you just mentioned. You just said, is everything okay?
Mhm.
How can I help?
Yes.
What's
And then we have to be ready for if they say, no, everything is not okay. I need help. We have to be able to turn to organizations like Assist and the other organizations that are out there, because there are a myriad of organizations that's out there. And of course, the link that you shared, Don't Commit Suicide, we want to share these little tidbits with people to let them know that not only am I ready, willing, and able to help you, but there is a army, there's a ocean of people and opportunities that are there for you, not just to save your life, but to save someone else's life. You know, I've got to admit, when I was in Japan over a month ago, um, I had been called in to assist a Japanese national who had a history of suicide in their family and who had recently tried to suicide. And so when you get into organizations like Assist and other organizations that focus on helping people to stay alive, you never know who may hear your name or who may know the work that you're doing to help save lives and say, hey, can you help us? So you have to really be ready to help. And then if you're afraid, that's what these organizations are for. You can call someone up and you can get someone on the line, and you can connect even with people like Sabrina Protic. She may not be a suicide intervention trainer, but she knows suicide intervention trainers. And that's why, Sabrina, I'm so happy that the WOII is stepping up and we're reaching out to women and men all over the world to cause a consciousness, to let people know that this is a conversation that not only can be had, but must be had.
Dr. Lotus, again, you have brought some great things to light. I'm going to revert back to something that you said. It's one thing to pick up on the breadcrumbs, but
Yes,
understand your qualifications.
exactly.
Now, when it comes to suicide, they do need a professional person, an
Yes.
organization,
Mhm.
someone skilled,
Yes.
because we are not skilled in that. I'm a certified life coach. I'm going
Exactly.
to give her a shout out through MK Mueller. She has the 8 to Great system, spoken all over the world on stages. Her book she sold over 10,000 or more copies of her book.
Mhm.
One thing she drilled into us, I'm a life coach. I am not a psychologist. I
Exactly.
am not,
Mhm.
I am not trained and certified for
Mhm.
suicide.
Right.
And we actually had contracts drawn up
Mhm.
where our clients had to sign where we stated that we are not suicide prevention coaches and that they were to seek immediate help or call 911
Exactly.
or
Mhm.
call 911 because I'm not certified. But what I
Mhm.
can do, and like you mentioned, I can
Yep.
get you to that person.
Exactly.
Isn't that true?
Exactly.
Get you to that
Mhm.
person. So if you are a family, and I know families are like this, they keep
Yes.
so much secret,
Mhm.
it happened in my family. One family member has suicidal thoughts, and the
Mhm.
family just tries to keep it all hush hush, and you'll be okay. And maybe it's your diet, maybe you need to eat different,
Right.
all kind. We start trying to diagnose. Meanwhile, this person is dealing with some mental issues that way above our pay grade or our education to deal with
Yes.
that. And
Mhm.
so what happens is inside these little nooks, these little families and little
Mhm.
friendships, we'll lose people to suicide because
Yes.
we don't refer them on to a
Mhm.
professional. What are your thoughts?
Exactly.
You kind of mentioned that a little bit, but can you validate that a little bit?
By all means, I think oftentimes we are taught that we should be seen and not heard. And so we continue even into adulthood to subscribe to that mindset. We are seen, but a lot of times the message of helping someone else is not heard because we've been taught what happens in this house stays in this house.
Mm-hmm.
But what we want to encourage people to do, and we hear this more and more, if you see something, say something, because the life that you save may not only be your own, but it may be the life of someone that loves you, that you love, and that needs to stay alive because of the people that love them and are depending on them. And so I think that's really critical for us to have these conversations, in organizations like Living Works with the Assist program, and other organizations around the world help to establish the fact that when we are in a situation where someone is having these suicidal ideations, or if they're having a conversation with you, they may not come out and say, I'm going to kill myself, but oftentimes we hear things that make us feel a little uncomfortable about leaving this person alone. Then we need to have the phone number or someone we can contact directly and say, hey, I'm concerned about you. And it's okay to say you're concerned. I'm concerned, and this is why I'm concerned. May I share this with you? Ask them for their permission, because again, someone may say, I don't want what you're sharing with me. I'm not thinking about killing myself. And then sometimes they really are. But because it's become taboo all around the world to talk about suicidal ideations, a lot of people don't want to talk about suicidal ideation because they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to be looked at as there's something wrong with this person. And it's not necessarily something wrong with this person, but there's something wrong with the situations or things in life, or things at the job. And there's nothing wrong with reaching out to get the helping hand. And so I would say, yes, we have to have that talk. We have to help people get help. We have to help people help themselves so that they can help themselves to stay alive, so that they can help others. Because we become living examples of what we do in our lives. And I hope that has kind of brought
Yes.
it full circle for you.
Yes, and well said. And you mentioned something too. Check with your employer if you are
Yes.
having suicidal thoughts. Check with your employer. A lot of them have company paid, company sponsored plans.
Yes.
There are organizations out there called Magellan. You will not lose your job.
Exactly.
Do respect privacy. But there are mechanisms in place. A lot of health insurance plans
Yes.
have mental health, suicide assistance and preventions, all types of things. So what we're saying is you're not alone. There are organizations out there that could be within your employer, within your own healthcare plan. There are some free organizations outside of those things. I'm sure there's some nonprofit organizations out there. Help is just around the corner.
Yes, it is.
You know of someone that has suicidal thoughts. Maybe they've made certain comments like, I don't want to be here anymore. I wish I wasn't here. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. Even just a simple statement like,
yes,
that's a clue that perhaps they need some help. And we don't want anyone to feel embarrassed. Go ahead, Dr.
Right.
Lewis.
And we want to come from a place of not judging and not from a place of blaming or poking fun at, because it's a very heart-wrenching thing for many people that are faced with suicidality, that have lost people to suicide, that they themselves has had thoughts of suicide. So we definitely want to approach it from a loving heart space. And as I said earlier, we want to have some things in our toolkit so that we can share. And Sabrina has some links that she will be sharing from the agency. And I want to share this as well. The agencies that we are mentioning, these are just some agencies. There are many more, and we are not being paid in any way to share these agencies, but these are some of the agencies that we're familiar with and or that we are connected with, that we've learned from, to help provide information to you. And so if you're in Canada, they have a location in Canada if you want to attend certain assists. They also have a toll-free number, and the toll-free number is 403-209-0242. Toll-free in North America is this number. It's 1-888-733-5484. And I'm trying to go ahead and connect you with this. And I'm going to give you the email as well. If you need to email someone, if you need to fax them, and I'll put it right here, Miss Sabrina, if you'd like to bring that up. So it's simple.
I'm putting that phone number out there right now.
Fantastic.
There's the phone number she mentioned, 1-888-733-5484. 1-888-733-5484.
And this is a global organization, the one that I'm personally a part of. It's a global organization all the way in Australia. You can reach out, because let's face it, the WOII is an organization. We're all around the world, and we want to reach out to you, all of you around the world, to let you know that we love you and we care and we appreciate you. And we want to be able to help you share amazing messages with people to help them stay alive. And we in no way are saying, yes, we're endorsing this company or anything like that, but we are saying that here's the information that's out here. And if it will serve you and bring you value, here it is.
Oh, that is just beautiful. We have talked about so many things, leaving empowering messages. So we're just going to review a few things, and the banner's going to be across the bottom of the screen. Don'tCommitSuicide.com. Don'tCommitSuicide.com. Please go there. That's a great reference point to go and see how we can help not only ourselves, but other people who may be struggling with that. So Don'tCommitSuicide.com. Our other thing is the ASSIST. That's the Applied Suicide Intervention Skill Set. We have a banner across the bottom. You can Google that, look that up. If you want to be a part of that, take the training that Dr. Lotus Richey has taken. Wonderful way to help and serve. We also have the authority, the authority agency, Living Works Education. And again, what does that do? What is that, Dr. Lotus Richey?
So the Living Works is the authorizing agency, Living Works Education. It focuses on educating people, not only just in suicide intervention, but in a myriad of other things. And so I invite you to go to the Living Works connection. And if you'd like, you can bring it up on the screen. It has a myriad of different areas where they help people. It's a wonderful training area. They have training for various organizations to help save lives across organizations. And some of the benefits of the training is that it creates supportive safety networks for employees and your clients. It safeguards the bottom line and protects the employees' morale, because after all, nobody's going to go back and tell your employer, oh yeah, this person is having these suicidal ideations. So you are in a safe space and in a safe place. It shows the organization's support for the employees, and I think you alluded to that, which is huge.
Yes.
Not only to the support of the employee, but the safety and the well-being. And then it also helps employees carry their skills with them to other homes and communities, and it establishes the organization as a leader in social responsibility. So if you have a corporation and you want to step things up and really empower and encourage your employees, you can utilize Living Works, and they will partner with you anywhere in the world from what I understand, I know East Asia and Australia and places like that, and here in the United States, they are partnering, and they also partner with our military. And so next week right here in Washington, D.C., they will be hosting a training class. And if anyone is interested in being a part of the training class, for this one, you'll need to be service connected in some shape, form, or fashion, or a dependent or something like that. For it to be covered, because the class itself, it does typically cost a fee depending on which one you get into, but it's priceless. It's priceless.
Wonderful. Well, we put the phone number out there again. We also put the website out there again. So everything that you need to know, feel free to reach out to Dr. Lotus Roché or myself if you want more information about all the things that we talked about today. We certainly have taken the time. This is a very serious matter, not to be taken lightly. Yes. Lives are at stake here. So we want to thank you for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Lotus Roché. Thank you for coming on.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
I told her this is Dr. Lotus Roché Day, and I really meant that, because you brought some wonderful things to the table. Resources, the information, the phone numbers, the websites, the email addresses, everything that we need to be of service to help those who are contemplating suicide, who know someone who's suicided, and just the resources and how we can be of encouragement. So thank you again, Dr. Lotus Roché, for joining us.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me. It's without question that the women of the WOII are doing great things around the world, and I'm just happy to be here, to be invited to share my love and light and help to save lives. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And we want to thank you, our viewers, for tuning in today. We hope that our innovative nuggets of wisdom have inspired you to take action towards an even greater life. So join us each week live, or hit that pound replay button for more information and how to join as a moderator, a board member of WOII, or and attend one of our annual Powerful Women Summits. We just closed one out that was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And here's a little secret. I'm going to tell it. Our next Powerful Women Summit is coming up next year. It's going to be in Belize. It's going to be in Belize. So if you want to be a part of something really powerful, then join us on our Powerful Women Summit in Belize in 2024. So we want to see you there. Again, reach out to me. I'm Sabrina Protic, the Executive Board Liaison of WOII, and also Miss Crystal Richardson, Lady Crystal Richardson, for details. We want to wish you a happy week. So have a great week. Continue to live each day unapologetically with honor and gratitude. And remember, keep rising, because woman, you are powerful. We will see you next week.
Clean, simple, effective deodorant. It's not a
Yay, we did it! We made the Amazon Hot new release for our amazing book, Harnessing Your Thoughts. Take the reins, control your life, and win. We thank you for your support.
Totalitarian state is ruled by the lie.
Hello and welcome to Off Script. My name is Edgington. How do you win the culture war? What lessons can we learn from Soviet dissidents? I sat down with Dr. Jordan Peterson to discuss these questions and more. Thank you very much, Dr. Peterson, for joining us.
My pleasure.
Has the right